those
Whoa.
vibrations.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. But
I know.
I'm
I
feeling
can
it.
feel
But
you feeling it.
yeah, I just got something, and this is around. I've been kicking this around for the last 2 or 3 days. It's about the term end result is a little bit off for me, and what I came up with is effect, end effect. So what you just said is this feeling of peace with yourself. That came through in a really big way for you. And then the question popped into my head. What are the after effects of that?
My answer is that it's going to affect everyone around me. Like, you can feel my vibration. Everyone I come into contact with will feel that peace, and it'll make them feel more peace.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like the ripple effect.
Yeah, it's a ripple
And in that
effect.
respect, I
Ooh,
am in service because I'm me feeling a peace and it rippling out. That's me being in service because I'm helping other people feel that peace.
right, because it affects other people. It affects you first, obviously, but it affects other people. It radiates. So what does it
Higher
feel like,
energy.
Ian? Yeah, what does it feel like, Ian, to radiate like that?
Just peace. Feels peaceful, happiness, peaceful, acceptance, like just acceptance for everything that's happening in my life. Just acceptance for what I chose. And just knowing that my soul knows what's best for me and that's why I chose it.
Yeah.
And
And
everything that's
where?
happened in my life has led to this point. So I'm just grateful for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the answer to this, but where do you feel that in your body?
Heart,
Yeah.
heart, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like an
Holy crap.
expansion. It's just like a big
Yeah.
expansion, it feels like.
Yeah. 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 And the radiation happens because you're at peace with yourself. You're compassionate toward yourself. Oh wow.
It's been the last month I felt the shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm feeling your power right now. It's like whoa. Yeah, and it was all in there all the time. Oh boy. Oh, what a privilege to share this with you, Ian.
And you too. I'm very grateful for you.
Yeah. Oh.
Thank you for embracing. Sharing the word embrace. And how that showed up in your life. And the demonstration of it here today. You can just feel the radiation just radiating out. And I kept, so my word is like rising up, is like the service is to help rise up. That there's nothing but our energy, our frequency, our intention to do that. And we do it first, embracing ourselves and our experience. That's as easy as it is.
I feel like as well the key things that I've been learning the last month is recognizing when it's my heart or my ego. Like I'm able to recognize now when it's actually coming from the heart or it's my ego. I've learned to I've learned to tell the difference the last month.
Yeah.
Would you, that is such a amazing and difficult. What did you discover in your difference?
Just that life becomes 10 times easier when I'm in my heart. Yeah. And that when I'm in my heart, life's a gift, life's beautiful, and just to treasure every moment, even the hard times, because it's all happening for me, not to me, for my soul's growth. And I just feel like a bit like a drain pipe, like the clogs come out, it's been unblocked. So like the energy is just coming out now, like there's no block there anymore. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Our ego, to me, it seems our ego is looking out there for the answer. And that is draining, but doesn't move. When we allow to look at inward or know that we have all the answers. It's all right here, just like it's in our heart. And the ego starts to really quiet and allow that space. The energy can move again rather than constantly being drained. I find my ego is always charged, like a negative or positive. Usually it's a negative. And that pattern is combined, embodied, entangled with my fear, with my feelings. As I pulled them apart, as I noticed the difference between them, that gave space for my heart of what I wanted, of who I am, of what I can contribute, what my inner peace.
I'm getting the word victimhood when I'm in my ego. I'm in more in victimhood, but when I'm in my heart, I'm in control. When I'm in my heart, I can see from a higher perspective. When I'm in my ego, it's like, oh, why is this happening to me? And victimhood mode more. Yeah, I just feel like I'm seeing it from the eyes of love more. That's really nice.
Yes. Yeah. Love is by
And it all
far the
starts with the
shortcut.
self.
The expanding self. The victim is so limited, so constricted, so constrained. It's only one possibility.
But I feel like we're taught that, like, if you've got like
Yes.
an illness, you were taught to fight it.
Yes.
Like it's working against us. You have to fight something instead of
Yes.
learning, embrace it. It's a unique experience. It might not be easy, but embrace it.
Embrace it. Yes.
Fight like you're fighting. You know what I mean? The word fight.
Yes.
Fight is even a word that like indicates victimhood to me now. So instead of fighting it, embrace it.
Yes.
Instead of fighting it, surrender. Instead of fighting it, trust.
Instead of fight, love it.
And feel, don't resist.
Put awareness on that resistance, on what that resistance is, just to allow, just to embrace it. Because we made it up anyway. There's that recalibration.
Trying to get rid of it keeps it there.
Yes. It's structure. Trying to get rid of it, trying to avoid it, trying to fight it, blame it, judge it. Anything that makes you feel shitty about it keeps it there.
Well, here's here's an insight that I just got. Consider how to handle it logically, and then just do the opposite.
That's right. That's right. What would I normally do and do the opposite?
Exactly. Do the opposite. Yeah. Wow.
Embrace it, rise up to it, and then do the opposite. Yeah. Do the opposite of normal.
Nine times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. Intuitive is the opposite of logic.
Yeah.
In fact, it's probably more often than that.
Biggest movements that I had was when I said, well, what's the other side of this?
Yeah. Yeah.
which is the opposite, what's on the other side. It's because we focus so much on the worst, like what's the worst about it? We could then, why not focus on what's positive? What's the best out of it too? Why, who said we
Yeah.
just have to bring one in? That's what we do. We focus in on just fighting it, avoiding it.
Well, here's another thing about this recalibration, is because I've experienced a lot of pain, around it, and I thought my pain threshold was rising, as in the ability to, as in an ability to bear more pain and more intense pain. But I'm understanding that a different way now. Like it's more like my muscles, my kinesiology is getting much more sensitive to energy, which is a real huge gift. Like being able to sense stuff when I walk into a room, for example, instead of having to be 3 feet away. That's an extremely powerful gift to have. To be able to depend on.
I just feel like I'm floating. I think I need to go and warm myself soon.
Yeah, yeah. The recalibration is an increased sensitivity to energy, to the quality of energy. Sensitivity to its frequency.
You've got a very soothing voice, Craig. I've never noticed that before. But
Say again.
you've got a very soothing voice. I've never noticed before. I think you'd be good at doing meditations, recording them and sending them to people, selling them. You got a soothing voice.
Hmm.
And start laughing at the end.
Maybe that's where this energy sensitivity is going. Maybe it's manifesting in my voice.
Yeah, I'm getting because you're not with people in physical, like on this call, so it's going in your voice so they can hear it for your voice.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that you observed that, Ian.
Yeah, I've never noticed this before. I just maybe it's because I'm opening up more. I've noticed it
Yeah.
because I'm myself feeling energies more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really helpful feedback.
And I'm also noticing as well, like say I talk to someone, I notice when they're not in the heart and there's no love in the heart. Like I'm noticing the difference. Like say I'm talking to you now, I feel an open heart. But if I'm talking to someone, I can feel that the heart's not open and I'm starting to feel that more. You know, like the closed offness, starting to feel it more from people. No judgment to them because I was just there myself. So, you know,
Yeah.
a year ago. I
It's
can
not
just feel it
personal.
more. Mm. Like I was talking to a guy before and I could just feel how closed his heart was, which I couldn't before.
Such a powerful awareness when we quiet our head and open our heart. And begin to live from there. It's completely different. And scary because our whole life we've been protecting it. But we don't have to. All of us at some point in our real small childhood took personally somebody told us we couldn't do our gift anymore. And they probably didn't say it in those words or meant it like that, but we took it personally and put the first brick up. And I would say that is where we introduced our ego.
Well, how else would we take it
Right.
other than personally?
Only when we could, only at the point that we could make it personal. A child just takes it as feedback when they get up and fall down again. We're learning to walk, right? Learning to talk.
But a deeper question for me is, why did I choose that trauma? Because I believe we choose our trauma. So why did I choose that? What's the lesson?
You say that again? Why did I choose my?
I believe we choose our trauma before we're born.
Oh,
So
our
for me,
trauma.
the question is, why did I choose that trauma? What's the lesson behind it? And for me personally, I feel like it's self-love. And to
For
look more
me,
inwardly.
for me, that goes back to the soul assignment that you agreed to do before you came. You know, that's what I've been working with my whole life, or working on, I suppose you could say.
I personally feel that I've had the feeling of unworthiness for so many lifetimes that I chose my trauma in this lifetime so I could go so far into the darkness so I could heal it. And I don't feel like it's just from this incarnation. I feel like it's healing on every timeline.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
In fact, self-worth is I know it's my key issue too. And, you know, and yeah, many lifetimes that's been the one. Yeah, it's true for me too.
I just feel like because it's been in so many incarnations, my soul has picked up the belief of unworthiness and it's like imprinted on my soul. So in this incarnation, I'm meant to heal that because I feel like it's gone really deep in many past lives. So that's why I chose everything to heal it once
Yeah.
and for all.
Mm.
So yeah. Mm.
And all the people around us that were trapped in it too helps that, releases that, gives room for that. So not only our shifts, but it's all those that have been around us, in contact with us, interacted with through that whole time and space. Ripple it and grease it with love.
You know, there's a certain amount of that stuff that's done for the collective of humanity too. You know, and it's our little piece to make a contribution.
Mhm.
And then the real contribution is the power on the other side of that. So when you go through it and live through it to its completion, then it liberates that power. And that's really the end effect of it, is the power release. So the end effect that was intended was a release of power. And the cause of that effect was a challenge of some sort.
I'm gonna head off now because I'm gonna go to the spa. But thank you, and yeah, much love.
Thanks, Ian.
Wow,
Have a
thanks
great
for
I want to
being
day.
get
here,
my
Ian.
little arse. I can't wait. I want to get my little arse in the spa and just like, oh, in a jacuzzi. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, take care. See you
Bye,
next time.
Ian. Okay.
Bye, take care.
Yeah, have a good day. Wow. I'm just getting that our true power as human beings is supernatural.
Morning, Allison.
Oh, hey, Allison.
Morning, everybody. Good to be here this morning. I'm on my
Very good.
phone. I
Good.
can't see everyone. Sorry about the back and forth, Jess. I was pressing the wrong numbers, the wrong buttons.
No worries. No worries. We've been working like embracing the heart, embracing our heart, opening our heart, rising above conditions, situations. And doing the opposite of what we would normally do. Looking at the logic, what do I do? And what would be the opposite? Giving space for the heart, giving space for the creation, giving space to get out of victim, fighting, blaming, judging, scarcity, which is the ego.
Yes.
And creating space
Certainly is.
for our power, our inner love, and just opening our hearts, sensing all of it, sensing resistance, sensing the flow, the openness, the expansion.
Love this.
And Ian was sharing. That was how he found inner peace. How he found his heart, his power, his passion. How he rose above it. And now that is how he can serve people. Rather than
That's
fighting
amazing.
it. Yeah. It was a powerful session.
Sounds like it was for sure. And remains so.
So I invite your word.
Hmm.
Your
Peace.
greatness. Yeah, peace.
And spring.
You say
It
strength,
is
Allison?
very nice to welcome the spring in. Yeah.
Oh, spring.
Out on your walk this morning?
No, I'm on my back deck
On the
watching the birds,
outside
and
of
they are fighting for territory this morning,
Mhm.
having fun doing it.
Having fun fighting territory.
They're playing Go, Jess.
Yeah. That's right. That's where I went with it.
Yeah. So I was in conversation with someone yesterday that is busy doing White Cloud's intuition training, and she shared a clip of him talking about what he sees in a very clear way. And what was really interesting for me about it was how it crossed over with yoga principles, which I hadn't really grasped yet, or hadn't defined it as clearly. I think that, I hadn't defined it. And then it came back to an experience for me about how when you're trying to shift something, it's far more effective if you don't do the problem solving thing in focusing on what you're trying to shift, but you focus on everything around it that can shift it. And so the reason that I'm bringing it up is because it sounds very similar to this in terms of moving from the heart space. And that's a profoundly creative structure, right? And what he was saying was that you can't shift the fundamental beliefs in a person because those are what orientate the ego. And the ego is never going to let go of them.
Wow.
I found that really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And certainly for me on a very practical level, instinctively, that thing about using the negative as a stepping stone. I don't know that that was always instinctive for myself, but certainly when I was working with people, I would encourage the acceptance of the negative and the focus on the positive. And so if we look at what you guys have been working with this morning, and I think you said that that was from Ian's experience, am I right, Jess? That he has come to the value of working from the heart rather than trying to, in my words, kind of sit around in the mud and shift things. Because if you come from the heart or if you come from the higher perspective, as Craig was, mentioning that you see that as what we're really supposed to be doing. And for me, that thing about our true nature and purpose, for me, that's about becoming getting as close as we can to living from the heart. That's everybody's true nature and purpose.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then you just do what you love.
From
What
there.
it is that you do is you do it because you love it. I think people get confused about the purpose thing. Very confused, in my opinion.
We are, and it makes sense because the world out there tells us we can't have it.
Mm. Mm.
That ego picked up on that
You have
early
to-
on.
Yeah, to a point where it's become a belief
Mhm.
or a truth, a personal truth.
Because we were doing it, and then we were told that was wrong.
Mm.
Just as we
that was
started to
just
learn
your
language.
imagination.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just as we were learning language,
Mm.
But yeah, it's just the imagination that, that did it. Because
Yeah, and
the
that
words
message-
became wrapped up with the pain.
Yeah.
Mm.
The message that what's in your
Mm.
heart is not significant,
Yeah.
doesn't count.
And it's not important enough.
And that wasn't the intentions. We speak it like it was the intentions, but no, it was just what
No.
this child made up in the moment of the situation and how to deal with it.
But that's the same conclusion that your parents came to as well.
Yeah, yeah, usually,
Mhm.
yep,
So it reinforced that way too.
yep. And that is how generational patterns continue.
Well, and at that point in your life, what other choice do you have, really? Like you do have
Not
other
much.
choice, but it's not. Yeah, but it's not in awareness that there is even a possibility for a different choice.
You know.
Oh, that's a big word
And
too.
it's
So you adopt it. You adopt the one that you see modeled.
Yeah.
Adopt beliefs.
and then you see it again, and then you see it again and again, and now it just becomes reinforced.
Becomes an adaptation. You adopt and then adapt.
And that creates our starting position. It locks in our starting position, and it doesn't allow us to look any other way.
Yeah, it becomes foundational.
Yep, a pattern.
Everything else that's built on that,
Mhm.
on those assumptions or on those conclusions.
Which is where that I heard that, Allison, where White Cloud says, yes, you can go around the edges, and you start pulling the legs off of it, it'll shift.
I think so. It's certainly how it's viewed in yoga practice, right? You eventually get to identify with consciousness, and the ego gets smaller and smaller. And our bodies allow that and facilitate that, which is a really interesting thing. They're the instruments for it.
The instruments for sensing the energy.
Yeah, it's a transfer of power, transfer of authority. Inner authority.
And yeah, and that's why focus is so useful to become aware of, right?
Yeah.
Where are you going to put your focus?
You might have missed this, Allison. In the past few weeks, we're talking a lot about focus and about creative focus as being very loose form of focus.
I'll put loose and in a expansive, like big space.
Yeah.
Yeah. You focus on the
Yeah,
field instead of a point.
I think it's yes. So when you for me, when you use the word loose, it feels like it's not anchored. And I don't think that creative focus is unanchored. In fact, I think it's, yeah, loose feels too much like a wobble for me, right?
Yep. Mhm.
But the expansiveness that is definitely true. The problem solving focus is locked in, I would say, which is the opposite to loose. So I get why that word is used. These are wonderful things to be aware of, right? Because they are tools. They're such fundamental tools.
Yes, they are.
And these are the tools that I believe that when shared, people really can change the trajectory of their lives. And that's a big thing. It's
So
a very
here's a
big
visual.
thing.
Yeah. And so in changing the trajectory of your lives, using the looseness, and it's like a looseness of a rope. How do you move a loose rope?
Pull it.
Which means you have to grab one end of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're always attached to one end of the damn thing. That's like life. We're always attached to it at the moment of now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
importance of allowing it, knowing where it is, because there's always one fixed point.
Yeah. Good one, Jeff.
Wow.
You can let go, but
That's a
then
profound one, that one.
you let go when the body dies.
Yeah.
Sorry, Craig, I didn't hear that.
You said you let go when the body dies?
That's what I said, but I didn't hear what you said.
Hmm.
I spoke over you.
It's okay. It'll come back.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's a pretty profound visual, actually.
Yeah.
Polling was a pretty interesting visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulling the
And you
rope.
think yeah. I mean, I used to have those falling dreams. They were terrifying. And then I used to have flying dreams that were sublime.
What was
And
the
I think when you let
difference?
go, it's a flying dream or a falling, but you have that embrace. There is the embrace. And I think part of meditation training is so that you feel that embrace as you go deep. The deeper you go, the more of the embrace you feel.
Yeah.
That's been my experience anyway. So that becomes more and more solid, and then what I imagine is when people that are highly trained in meditation and they let go of the body. In other words, the spirit lets go of the body, not that the body dies. The body will die when the spirit is gone. But usually we exit the body because the body dies. It's for most people. But when you've had been doing that training, you can allow your spirit to go, and then the body dies. And you can allow it because you feel the embrace from the other side, as it were.
Mm.
I don't know that I'll be at that point, but I think as long as I've got the memory, that will guide me.
The other side's not going to abandon you.
Yeah, you're basically going back home.
Yeah, and when you realize that faith and spirit are more solid than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's
Well, that's
certainly
what
what the
that's what we,
teachings are.
and that's what we're putting in anything anyway. Whether it's in money, whether it's in out there, whether it's in problem solving, all we're
Oh,
doing is putting our
yes.
trust and faith in that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so again, we come back to, what do you choose as your point of focus?
Oh my.
We got it zipped up, Jess. A lot of bloody hard work to get here, but we're getting there.
Mhm.
Man.
It's
Oh,
easy,
so
simple, and
much
silly,
clarity
right?
today. So much clarity today. Unbelievable. Oh my. My.
I'm so happy to hear that Ian was back. He is so divine. I'm sure it was nice for him to be back too.
Yeah, several times he said, "My life is 10 times better living from my heart."
Wow. Yeah. It's so funny, hey? Because I mean, I don't see Ian as living anything else but that.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting. Like, we can observe it, or I certainly, that's what's always my observation of him. And,
Right.
but it wasn't for him. It wasn't strong enough to feel it.
When we met him, he was pretty close.
Yeah.
I think it's because that's just his fundamental nature. I think some people just fundamentally have that nature. That when they come into this lifetime, that is their fundamental nature.
Well, that's actually how he
They
described
move
it
from the heart
today. Yeah, he described it today that was his true nature, was to embrace. That was his word today. His true nature was to embrace the challenge of that. And he shared that he had realized that he had had the same challenge in previous lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's this one where he's finally gotten the breakthrough, right? So very, very significant for him today.
We're so blessed with what people come to share, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
It's play.
Yeah.
Not fight, and we're not fighting for territory. Our egos aren't fighting, positioning, grappling. We're sharing.
Something came up when I was talking with Joe yesterday, and we get to play with potential energy for a living.
Yeah.
We get to play with potential energy for a living. It's like, can it get much better than that?
No. No, it's, I mean, letting people, letting, helping, serving people see their greatness,
Yeah.
see their genius, see their gifts, which is all, that's potential as I hear you speak it. That is what the world needs. It's what every individual needs.
So I was thinking with your words, Craig, I would formulate it as the potential of energy. And it's just a different
working directly with the energy. Working with it like a magician.
Yeah. I mean, the field is enormously powerful, as we know. So it's about the potential that it has for us, and how much we can increase our awareness of that. That's how I would that's how I see that. And that awareness grows as your capacity to open your heart goes.
Yeah. For me, it's more about swimming in it.
The fluidity of it.
Yep.
I often talk about the body electric as washing over and through the body.
Yeah, being enveloped by it, being impregnated by it, by the energy itself.
Sure. This was a wonderful injection, as I would say. Thank you so much, guys. I'm needing to go. I've got a call in about 5 minutes.
Bye, Allison.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Thanks for sharing the morning with us.
Yeah, thank you
It
for being
wasn't
here,
for
Allison.
long, but yeah, thank you for being here always for me to come to. I really, really appreciate it. Have a good day,
Thanks, you too.
and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Allison. Stopping to stretch for a minute.
Out on the walk this morning, huh?
Yeah.
Are the
Oh,
guides
this-
out with you?
Yeah, exactly. Tons of them. In fact, remember on Sunday I talked to you about that one mallard duck. There's a whole flock of them in the middle of the road. Yesterday, I think it was, when I was out. Yeah, very interesting. All these birds. There's quails all over the place. A raven just flew right in front of my face here just a few minutes ago. This recalibrating is very interesting now that I understand what the heck is going on.
What does that mean?
It means that I've been carrying a lot of potential energy in my body, like unresolved trauma, for an example, like stuff like that, and and abuses, and fight or flight response, post-traumatic stress, that kind of stuff. And because I have been carrying that much around, it's all releasing in its own time and in its own way. And for me, this has been a 16-year experience already.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
still continues. So what that tells me is if it's taking that long to release all of that, the potential behind it is very large.
Mhm.
So the other side of this is when potential energy gets released in one form, it energy is conserved, so it shows up in another form. And that's why my genius is coming out to play in such a big way right now, is because I'm finally getting that potential energy is finally getting to the point where it's kind of like it's hit a tipping point, and there's more, and it's showing up in the energy of intuition and the energy of genius more than it's being stored in my body, if that makes any sense.
Mhm. Or
So
blocked. It's blocked in
yeah.
your body.
Well, yeah, and held back. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like that pressure cooker we were talking about.
Yep.
But energy, all energy does is change form.
Mhm.
It doesn't disappear. It doesn't go anywhere. It just changes form. And I really like this new form.
It's there's a version of it. It's like there's a lifetime that we've been creating a certain way, and it's a
Right.
lifetime of undoing that. because that all that energy has momentum. All that energy, even if it wasn't where we wanted it, it had momentum. It was creating. And it's like unwinding that and like that momentum and unwinding that momentum and pointing it the opposite direction. That's why I think we want it much faster than it can be.
Well, yeah, and sooner than our being can contain it.
Mhm.
So that's why my body's recalibrating is because this new form of energy requires a different structure, a different container.
Expression, a different release, a different form. That's a great word for it.
Yeah.
Expression. You know.
I looked up potential energy on the internet, and I ran across a government website that talks about different kinds of energy and that kind of stuff. And I just had insight after insight after insight just from reading that crazy government propaganda. It was funny. I mean, that fascinates me more than anything else, is that the insights can come from anywhere. Like I can be looking at the sky and watching the clouds move, and I'll get some kind of a hit. It's just amazing, you know. Or the wind will blow a certain way, or a bird will squawk. It's just like, oh man.
Yep. Right. You know, but with the intention.
Well, yeah. Well, that's part of that idea of being open, you know.
Yep.
You know, open to see, open to hear like what's not obvious.
Yeah.
That, you know, open to hear the parts that get missed.
In between the lines,
Reading
what's
between the
not
lines,
said,
exactly.
the silent instructions, the
Yeah.
silent instructions.
Yeah. You know, and I realized too that these are the senses of the higher dimensions that can actually pick up what's in between the lines,
Mhm.
what's in the blank spaces, what's in the blanking interval.
Mhm. And it's much easier to see it, sense it, feel it in others than it is in ourselves. When we're starting out.
Yeah. Wow. you know, all these books I've been writing for the last 20 years are starting to come to life. It's like, this is blowing me away. Wow, so many dots being connected. Potential energy.
Yeah. You know, for a purpose or a time, and then all come together at different connections. Yeah. We was thinking about our be do have conversation yesterday, and
Yep.
came around to the importance of the starting position, like which is our pattern. I mean, like one of it is how can we have people be aware of their starting position, their automatic, their tendency. And what was new is like, when we can start with having, like you spoke, is having it all. It's like, oh, that is the most powerful starting position.
Yeah.
And I'm still wrestling with it, but I think it's in my understanding of having, as in seeing it, as in being there, as the end result, if you will, or the
Having a
end,
grasp on
the
it.
outcome, the effect. I hold it as the effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think most people, starting out would have it that way too.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so if we start from there, I think there's a certain order that those three things have to go in.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I was discussing this with Joe yesterday, and a quote from Napoleon Hill came to mind. He says, whatever the human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And what's interesting is, to me, is the letters those words start with. It's C and B and A. Conceive is C, believe is B, and A is achieve, right? and I kind of thought, what's interesting, it's interesting he put them in that order, because like you were just saying, most of us have been taught to start with A, to start with the achievement, and then believe it, and then work on believing it, and then, you know what I mean? So working from that direction. But the other direction might be a lot more fruitful. Because like you say, when you start with the conception, you start with a wide open field. It can be absolutely anything. You're starting from a place of everything. And you can kind of pick something out of that everything.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
something that actually matches with you and matches with your passion and your your heart's desire.
Yeah.
And starting from there is extremely powerful.
That's right. Something from the nothing, but the nothing's always there first, or the everything which comes from the nothing is there, because it's everything's there, nothing's there, and then something was there. And conceive to me is like the it's almost, the conceive is like the soul, the heart's feeling, creation, intention that we then bring up and begin to frame into some sort of
Creation.
words. Creation, like a focus. Without it, created is a good one. It's like creating it in the invisible.
Yeah.
And that's what conceiving is. Something from
Yeah.
nothing.
It's in the intangible. It's actually
Mhm.
creating it in the intangible.
Yeah. Which, of course, that makes sense. It's like, yes, it's got to be there first. Everything is that way.
Yeah. Allowing it to germinate there
Yeah.
is another very interesting practice.
The first step in creation is germination. Yeah.
Well, no, first one is conception.
Conception.
Conceive, right?
Mm-hmm. I was working while I was trying to think of which way that was added.
But the second step is where belief is formed around it.
Mm-hmm. And in a way, that is where have is that way, like to have. Have the conception, to have the idea, right? We say that all the time. Oh,
Right.
I have an idea.
Yes.
So I was working with that and it was like, you know what? I almost want to change have to experience.
Yeah.
Be, do, experience. But I like how I can use have that way too. It's like, oh, have it. And use it. It's like, well, what happens when you have an idea? And you become that idea and you do that idea. And then you have the idea. Meaning you experience that idea, that concept. I think part of it is that, and I was holding that be, do, have loop, not as a loop, but as an end. And it's like, no, it's an always ongoing loop. They're always flowing in the direction.
Oh, good morning. Yeah, no kidding. These blooms are awesome. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back. So yeah, and this time of day is perfect because they're just starting
What
to
if I came out quicker?
This one.
Yeah.
phenomenal.
And they only last like a couple days,
Yeah,
so
right. So you
yeah,
got,
crazy.
I'm gonna have to come back with the camera.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Hey, good talking to you.
Nice talking to you too.
Have a good day. This lady has cactuses in the corner, and they're just flowering. It's in bloom today, so she's out taking pictures.
Mhm. Oh my goodness. I just got the word premature. Hmm.
Oh my. Oh, oh man. Oh man. How many of my achievements were premature? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. In the fullness of time. Oh wow, there's power in that. Oh my. Oh. You know, there's so much power in allowing things to gestate.
Premature. Mhm.
Yeah, premature. Of course, mature is a relative term.
Yep.
In birth, it's like a baby that's born before its time. Oh man. Oh, that's, oh wow. Oh, wow. There's something very significant about the moment that you were born. Oh wow. Forgive me right now. I can't put words to this. It's like, whoa.
That's good. You just do that. I'm gonna go deliver some coffee, but you'll be in my ear. So if you want to talk it out, no big deal.
Okay. Yeah, the birth process is a fundamental human creative process. And as we know it, if you're going to have a baby, the first step is conception. And the second phase is gestation. Which is a very conducive environment to growth and development. And then when that time is fulfilled, the baby is born. Which is why this is why creative energy is associated with the second chakra, the sacral chakra, which is about procreative energy. It's about sexual energy. It's about reproducing after your kind. The last few months I've been exploring the concept of not just being creative, being creativity itself. Being a creator like the one who created you. After that pattern, after that kind. So exploring all this thing about the creative process has been up front and center for me. My awareness. And wow, interesting how that's coming about. And how I realized throughout my life I've had the process out of order at times. And devoted a lot of energy to certain parts of the process to the detriment of other parts of the process. And I'm coming to discover that my real genius is in the conception stage of the process. That's my genius. That's not yours. That's mine. And fleshing that out. It's about examining the desires of my own heart. Finding my own internal passion. What lights me up. And devoting energy and awareness to that. That's what brings out the powerful creator in me. and learning to respect that, learning to respect my heart and what's in there and what meaning it might have. And what effect my heart might have on the environment and society and the world. Good morning. Good. How are you?
You walk up to the culvert. That's as far as you walk, and then you come back.
Well, it depends. Depends how my legs feel.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I'm recovering from an automobile accident, so I'm like trying to walk things through, and
yeah.
yeah.
Well, good
So I
to
just
get
kind of
out.
go where the spirit moves me, and where I can stop every once in a while to sit or stretch.
Yeah, I see you sitting over there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, at least you're getting out.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Walking
Yeah.
is real important.
Yeah, it is.
The more you walk, the better your muscles will get.
Yeah.
It helps a lot.
Yeah, Paul and I, we
Hi, Frank. Paul.
walked.
Hi, Gil. I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, how you been? I'll take care of yourself.
Yeah, yeah. We'll talk again, you guys. Morning, Frank. That was kind of interesting. A little neighborhood huddle here.
Yeah, yeah. The men out getting their walk.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny because I've been out here for an hour and a half already. So, so now they're starting to kind of make their way out. It's kind of interesting. I stop every once in a while and pick up a couple of grapefruit
Mhm.
and take them home and eat them. It's kind of cool. To be in a neighborhood like this, but anyway. So, did you hear any of that? Or was I muted?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. What do you mean by that?
Because I'm on my phone and
I heard it. I heard it all. So yeah, I heard it all.
Okay. So every once in a while, what it does is it goes off to, like, when you're okay. Yeah, you didn't hear me just then,
There.
did you?
I didn't hear you then. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And then I
Because
heard
what
the
happens
birds.
is when I move too fast, my phone will go into safe driving mode,
Oh.
and so it actually mutes me.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yep.
So that's what.
You're
So I
moving
wasn't
too
sure if that
fast.
happened when I took my phone out of my pocket. I looked at it and it said you're muted because you're in safe driving mode. And I went, no.
No, I gotcha.
Good.
Not muted. All right, man. Well, good morning with you. Thanks. Have a great day.
Well, you too.
I will.
And thank you again for the space. It's oh yeah, today's been phenomenal. Yeah, it's
And
too
again,
bad that Allie didn't come back, but that's okay. I'll get to her later today.
yeah, like, ready to grow it, huh? Ready to grow it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I'm learning and growing so much here. Just unbelievable. And as usual,
Yeah.
the timing's impeccable. So thank you, Jesse. Big love.
Thank you, Craig.